the world is your oyster here. The landscape of the Columbia Business Market has evolved such that the motto is we're open. For the first time, you're starting to see municipalities and communities working together to figure out how to bring all of these opportunities to life.
Our team truly wants to see Columbia grow and develop. We are committed to this place. We live here, we work here, and want to find a way to make it easier for them to develop.
The diversity of our city makes it very vibrant, and that's what makes it so special.
We want great places to eat, to work, to play, and also have a wonderful quality of life. Come to Columbia. It is friendly atmosphere, beautiful surroundings, a capital city. It's a little bit of everything for you in Columbia, South Carolina.
I want to thank my colleagues that are here today, Mr. Brennan from District 3, Mr. Brown from District 4, and our at-large member, Mr. Bailey, all here tonight to join us along with, we have a few of our senior city staff here. I saw Miss Pam Benjamin in the back there. Pam, raise your hand. Missy Kaufman, Jeff Palin, Clint Sheely, Kenyon Bryant, Director of our Parks, Darius, I see you hiding back there. Todd Martin, our in-house design team who helped design Finley Park and has been doing a lot of our park renovations from Mays Park and other. Todd, raise your hand. We have a ton of staff here from across the city. All raise your hands and wave so everybody can see you. Everybody can see. We could not do a lot of what gets done across the city without an incredible staff. And we're very fortunate to have the folks here involved. So I also want to take an opportunity to thank our partners. We got some Dream Key folks here that are working with us on our strategic plan as we're going after housing, making sure that we're getting those 15,000 units that we need across the city over the next decade, from workforce housing, single family homes, to duplexes, to multifamily, all the needs that we know are necessary for us to take on the 28 people a day that are moving to the Midlands. So very excited about that. We're going to talk here for a little bit, pass back and forth, and then we're going to have question and answer, and then we'll be around afterwards to answer any questions. But I do want to start off by saying that, you know, we started off our strategic plan several years ago focusing on how we could really grasp on growing Columbia and being the capital city that we know we are. Our goal has been to be the #1 city in South Carolina, not by population, but by quality of life, what we have to offer. And we're seeing the growth. For decades, we were at 2% growth, and now we're at 4.5. We're seeing more businesses move in. But we also realized that we had to invest heavily into our community, into our city, and we made a commitment 4 years ago to focus really on making those investments internally, finishing these open-ended projects from Finley Park to Bull Street, to investing in training technology into our employees to make sure that we could deliver what we are supposed to, which is customer service. That's what we're in. We're in the customer service business. But we also realized that we need to market ourselves, and we needed to make sure that we were reaching out and people knew Columbia's story, that we weren't just the crossroads of the state, that we were the capital city, the host of 6 colleges and universities, the largest training base on the East Coast, the advocacy center where every attorney comes through and trains. But we're also the home of entrepreneurs, Pulitzer Prize winning authors, Grammy nominated artists. We have it all right here. And so part of what we did is in our first full year is adopt Together We Are Columbia, a brand that celebrates our history, the diversity, the hospitality, the natural environment, the innovation that happens here in Columbia. As we continue to grow and we start to bring our river and our natural assets to the forefront to be part of who we are, embracing what we've had and sharing it and building it up so it becomes part of it. Making sure that we're taking pride in our story, making sure that we're telling that story, which is such a powerful one when you get to know people. I'll give you a quick side story. You know, there's a show done by Dennis Quaid called All in America. And the producer called and said, Columbia's on the list. We're not really sure that we want to come to Columbia. Their team came here and they needed more time. They were blown away about how we embrace our guests, the Southern hospitality, our #1 farmers market downtown, all the events that were going on, the feedback they got from the military families that they had the opportunity to share about, folks that are retiring. You know, you think about that, Fort Jackson, 7 out of 10 families that are finishing their career are staying in Columbia, South Carolina. That's a testimony to who we are. But we launched the pride. Everything from our game day appearances, talking about Columbia. There isn't a place we don't go that people don't know who Columbia, South Carolina is. But also having the opportunity to celebrate things like the Dawn Staley and making that statue, making it part of our community. It's all important to really show who we are. But our economic development has just absolutely grown. People are realizing we are a place to do business. Developers, investors, our own community. We have some homegrown investors building quality projects, uplifting, but at the same time, having preservation. We saw last year, 2024-25, $1 billion in development. Single-family homes. One of the goals we have to do is continue to grow. We need about 1,600 units a year to keep up with what we need at this point. We have almost 1,100 single-family home permits built. We had 699 units of multifamily. We've adopted a new downtown strategic plan, new guidelines. Looking at narrowing streets, working with our partners like Secretary Powell at DOT, which we've got an unbelievable relationship in grasping and doing things to make sure that the connectivity of our greenways, when we're done with the riverfront and everything, think about this for a minute, folks, you'll have the opportunity to be downtown. You'll be able to go without having to take a car or a bus. You can take a bike, you can walk to West Columbia, have breakfast, cross over, go into the backside of the botanical gardens, take the gondola over to the other side, jump on Candy Lane, go all the way up to the dam and back, cross over into Earlewood Park, stop at Curiosity Coffee on North Main, maybe even jump over across to Sumter, have some pizza, or go to the Warmouth. Then from there, go over to Segra Park, catch a ball game, come back, cruise through and catch the evening concert at Finley Park, and finish your evening in the Vista with dessert without ever getting in your car. That's what people are looking for today. That's the connectivity that we're investing in. New businesses, over 1,500 new business licenses have joined in and come. That's small, medium, large. Soda City became the #1 market across America by USA Today, but also has been an incredible incubator for us. We look at all our Office of Opportunity, our business opportunity that has gone in and hosted numerous workshops, had over 3,000 attendees, been able to help disadvantaged businesses participate in over $17 million worth of work here in our community. Protege program, allowing people awarding over $25 million to small and disadvantaged businesses. Our boom at Bull Street, everything from Gather Columbia, the School of Medicine, our neurological hospital, the new apartments, getting ready to have the new affordable unit, groundbreaking there, and lists of more and more to come. And with that, I want to turn it over to Councilman Brown just to echo a little bit. He's the chair of our Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, Daniel. I think it's really, just listening to Daniel talk kind of gives me a little bit of, the other side of this, which is just kind of sitting and listening instead of talking so much. But it really is about working together. And I think for the first time in my lifetime in Columbia, Richland County, universities, everybody in Columbia is working together. We're trying to take all of our energies and put it into the right place at the right time. None of these things that the mayor's talking about are an accident. They're all based on strategic and purposeful energy that this city council, the people of Columbia, the people of Richland County are putting together. There are so many, and even more importantly, it's not just in one area. It's everywhere in Columbia. Everybody is going to be able to improve their quality of life as this continues. The economic development, when I got in the office 2 years ago, we barely even had a pipeline, okay? On top of the $1 billion of actual economic development that's coming into fruition, we've got $2 more billion coming behind it. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to allow Columbia to actually fulfill what I consider its dream, which is to be a city that is much more approachable, much more walkable, much more alive. Get rid of all these parking lots that we've got everywhere. Get rid of these empty lots that are in your neighborhood and fill in with more people. Mayor's got 2 daughters. Any of them live in Columbia, Daniel? No. Nope. I've got 4 daughters. My youngest has still got a chance. She's in college. My other 3 daughters, not here. You will? Okay, you. Yeah, good. Yeah, but that's because you're in school. They're like 7. So we're not talking about 7-year-olds. We're talking about kids that have jobs. Okay?
We are good examples of folks that went away for college but came back because they love this city.
I went away to college too and came back.
Well, there you go.
Choice.
There you go.
The rest of the world still got a choice. And your 7-year-old is going to stay here for a while. Yes. All right, well, good. But that's what we're trying to do. It's about opportunity. But the opportunity is not an accident. Opportunity is based on hard work, working together, and the collaboration of everybody that's here. Just seeing people here. I mean, there's people here that I know that I'm like, what are they doing here? But you know what? You know why they're here? They care. And number 2, they believe. Okay? And that's what it's really about. I wish I could talk about every project going on in Columbia, but it'd take too long and we'd probably get in trouble by blowing the whistle on some of these things. But I'm just telling you, just drive around, keep your eyes open, and some of these projects, I even really have a hard time believing that they're actually happening. I mean, you come out of a meeting and you know that this is going on and you say, wow, I can't believe this is going to happen in Columbia. This is our time. So just to let everybody feel good about themselves for a little while, this is our time in Columbia. The next 5 to 10 years are going to be amazing. And when it's all over with, we're all going to be proud of ourselves.
Mr. Mayor, might I jump in real quick? Speaking of projects, today was a beautiful day, and me, myself, along with Councilwoman Bustles, we were giving a tour of Finley Park, and that's going to be one project I think that's really going to, if your eyes have not been open to how vibrant, I think attractive, where we are as a city, your eyes will be open during that grand opening of Finley Park. I mean, it's amazing. From what I remember what Pkwy Park used to look like to what it's going to look like when this comes up.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, Todd, please get around.
Guys, stand up. Come on, man.
There was some moments today where I was just standing and looking like, this is amazing.
Yeah, wow.
It's going to be right in our backyard, and everybody's going to be proud of it.
I thought you were going to take credit for the weather today. Where are you going with that?
Well, that really is a good segue into talking about quality of life, investing, why we're investing in our parks, why we're investing in everything from our tree canopies into, what we call Project Dream, our strategic plan to invest and grow, rehabilitate our housing stock. I mean, we've been doing things in an incubator mode where we have had the opportunity to try things. Well, we had an opportunity to partner with the state. The state gave us, thank you, Representative Leon Howard, Senator Devine, and Representative Chris Hart, who helped us secure funding where we could go into neighborhoods and rehabilitate homes so people could stay there. We did over 60 homes, I think, in the rehabilitation. We've got 7 homes that are built. We've got the city's 53 lots that we own, we're building on and creating opportunities for first-time homeowners. By partnering and making affordable housing, but uplifting, partnering with local businesses like US Brick to make sure that people are getting an all-brick house. We're not building something that's vinyl or durable. We're building something that lasts a lifetime, that creates opportunities for generational wealth. We're investing, there are over 2,100 empty lots across this city. And what we've seen in other cities, we went to Atlanta, we've been to Charlotte, we've been to all over the Southeast to look at what are other communities doing, how do we rebuild these neighborhoods, and how do we do it with this housing stock? Where's the appropriate place for duplexes? Where's the appropriate place for us to have senior housing? Where is the place that we can keep people in neighborhoods? We're taking the lots that we own and making the first step. But we're taking it further than that. We're reaching out and talking to a lot of our churches on a lot of property. And they bought it with the intention of building homes that never did it. So now working with them, reaching out to folks who have air property and others, showing them that there is a pathway to develop this. Don't just pay the $300 or $400 a year in property tax and sit on it, because it's not helping our community grow. We need the density. We need to get away from the litter, the collection, making it a dumping site, because that's what happens. When I ride around this community constantly, that's what we run into. Empty lots attract what we don't want in neighborhoods. We want vibrant, tree-lined streets with people walking, playing, being part of it. And if you don't believe that an investment makes a difference, ride by Mays Park and see what investing in a park does. Look at the people that are there. At every age, they're playing pickleball, basketball, kids all day long, engaging. That's what we're looking for. That's part of that.
And part of it is too, that I think we've got to realize that things are not mutually exclusive. Economic development, quality of life, investing in your communities, they're all related. They are not different things. But you gotta believe in yourself. And part of what the mayor, I give the mayor a lot of credit for this, I got here a little bit after he did, it's trust and getting people to believe. You gotta build trust, you gotta get people to believe. And then you're going to get the momentum that we've got now. And that's really what this is about. It's about building on this momentum. Those 2,000 lots could take 50 years, but they're not, because we've got more people believing in their communities, believing in themselves, and believing in the rest of us too. It really is just, it's like football. You know, football's tough. If you don't believe, if you don't want to keep playing, it's going to be awful tough. And this is about believing in our communities and believing in ourselves. And I give the mayor a lot of credit for driving the vibe in Columbia, and the vibe is turning into reality.
We're celebrating 50 years of community development, our community development office, 50 years, creating partnerships, utilizing the grants that they get from the federal government, but also being creative about how they can leverage the properties that they own and create more opportunities so we have more affordable options, more senior options. We're doing it one block at a time, one lot at a time, but being able to be part of making sure that they're invested in assisting our neighborhoods and putting money back into projects like Love Your Block, continuing to do that, neighborhood meetings, being part of our community development, and our favorite promoter over there. Stand up, come on. Miss Veronica. If you don't know Miss Veronica, you need to get to know Miss Veronica. Miss Veronica does everything in the world for the city, and she shares that information at every neighborhood meeting. She's engaged, and she's doing it in our community development, doing the same thing, making sure that we've got homeowner assistance programs and things that we're doing from weatherization to home loans and opportunities. We got some great programs that we're working on with the private sector to really bolster home ownership and the opportunity, because the reality is we have less than 46% of the homes in this community are home ownership. Our goal is to get up above 50. That's where we need to be. Even though we have generations of folks today who do not want to own homes, they want to be renters. So we have to make sure we have everything for everyone. But then our development partners, part of the city, CE Zinc and TN, doing their part, taking the properties that they have, building those up. And if it's the Jones McDowell neighborhood or the Lower Waverly, Martin Luther King, where we own 8 lots that we're building and putting folks back into the neighborhood, but also looking at how we work with other developers in that area to bring in senior housing, because we have an aging population who wants to stay in their neighborhood but need those opportunities. Working with our parks and recs, I can't say enough about our parks and recs, what they have done in their investment. But they're also not just thinking about the parks, they're bringing parks and recs to our community and invested in a band, bringing it to some of the neighborhoods who don't have a park, where they set up games and they're working with our kids to make sure that kids in every neighborhood in the park and play have an opportunity to participate. We've installed 2 of our Prisma Health fitness courts in Greenview and Finley Park, and 2 more to come. Getting people where they have something to exercise outside, walking trails, enhancing the parks. Why are we doing that? Because it's important for you to have that in your neighborhood, the opportunity to get out and exercise. Because our goal, we're going to get to a blue zone, and we're going to do the things to make, because we want people to live longer and healthier lives in our community. But we're going to continue to invest in these parks. We're going to continue to work and reach out to those communities that don't have it. We just built a small pocket park on Randall Street, where we're building 19 homes. That neighborhood had empty space, over 25 lots in one area empty for over 2 decades and no park. The number one thing that neighborhood asked for is, can we have a pocket park? Can we have a place where we can have a picnic? Now we've got playground equipment, a walking trail, a covered patio where they can have an opportunity to gather and be together, making a big impact in that neighborhood. One house, one neighborhood, one block at a time. Our public works, I can't say enough about Robert and that team. Constantly on call, making sure that trash is picked up, making sure that all of our street trash is cleaned up, making sure that the 28% of the roads that we own are in good shape. We're still working with the state on the other, but we're going to get there to come up with a plan and make sure that the rest of those are investing. That's why that penny sales tax that you voted for was important. So we have a funding source, because the state does not have enough money. They collected $6 billion in fuel tax, and $5.2 billion of that went to highways. $200 billion went to bridges and all the bridges and repair, and $600 billion gets split between 46 counties. That does not help us get the 72% of the roads that we need fixed and repaired. So the penny's going to help us get there, finish those greenways, put in those sidewalks, get that infrastructure done so that we have something that will last 30 years. And at the same time, taking advantage of the new paving by partnering with Smart Surfaces to put reflective surfaces so we can redirect that heat as we're planning. Because we're 18.5 degrees hotter than we should be, folks. So as we continue to love, because everything we're doing, we're thinking strategically, both about our natural assets. How do we make sure that we keep our river and our water supply healthy? How do we make sure that we cool down in our areas between our trees that we're planting, which we planted over 1,500 along with Columbia Green and the Beat the Heat grant program. We want to put more. We've planted over 10,000 trees over the last 5 years. We want that to continue to grow. Why? It makes a difference in quality of life. And that means in every corner and every area. Our animal services had a record-breaking live release rate of 83. We need a new facility. We've got to invest in a new facility to make sure that we have more opportunities. I want to thank the students at Benedict and USC who have been helping with adoption programs, helping us make sure that we have an opportunity to take those animals in for short term so that we don't have the kill rate that unfortunately sometimes we have to have. Our forest and beautification, we talked about that. Tree USC, we're 45 years, getting ready to be 46 years of a Tree City USA. It's because we're making those investments. Our sustainability office, we're actually the only LEED certified city in South Carolina. We're Gold LEED certified. We're only one of 40 cities across America that are part of that because of what we're doing to protect our natural assets and our environment, because that is our lifeline. Our rivers, our trees, and our community is part of that, and we're doing a great job. And to have that distinction, I think, is something incredible. But it led to the award of the pollution reduction grant for planning of $1 million, and then an implementation grant of $8.7 million that our friends at the COG are managing. Will, who's the former chair of the COG and board member, and they're working. That's our Council of Governments working together to make sure that we're doing it. We took advantage. We were granted $50,000 from Bloomberg to create more youth initiatives and programs and climate action grant that led, because we were able to get it out and those projects were done, we got another $100,000, which now leads us to more grant opportunities. So when we talk about grants, we're going after everything possible, state, federal, and private, to enhance and help our city grow. We got over $300 million last year. 204 towards the rail realignment. That means 15 rail crossings. Finally getting Assembly Street so we're no more stuck, creating a safe haven to get people from one, not having one community cut off. But what comes down, along with that comes the quiet zones. That's $13 million where we're upgrading the crossings so that when those trains do come through town, they don't have to honk their horn in the middle of the night, and we've got safer crossings all over, because we're one of the few cities that has 60 crossings in it. Why? Because we're the capital city in the center of the state.
By the way, that the railroad project was part of the 1904 strategic plan, I think, something like that. So it's been around a while.
We waited 120 years and it's here now.
So this is the time to do it. It's going to get done.
Will, did you want to add anything to that?
No, it's a pleasure serving on the COG. To the point, really leveraging relationships. We have great friends at the Department of Transportation who recognize the importance of the growth that's coming our way and how we manage that. So we've been talking about growth and development for 33 minutes. Who out there is sitting there anxious as heck saying, how are we going to keep up with all this growth? How are we going to do this when we have neighborhoods that are bursting at the seams with new populations? We have Garner's Ferry, as we all know, is becoming a major, even more major thoroughfare. I've been very impressed by this council's willingness to invest in infrastructure, because we all know, this council knows you're only as good as the infrastructure that you build upon. So we've invested a lot in Columbia Water throughout District 3, District 4, and the entire city, but we have more to do. And that's our commitment on this council, is to really invest in the infrastructure and see all the fruits and treasures that grow from that via quality of life and more investment. So yeah, just keeping up the relationships with our county and our DOT, and we have Mr. John Black is on the Penny Transportation Committee. Wave your hand back there, John, don't hide. He is a major player in making sure that projects come forward through the Penny that benefit us at the city as well as all of the county. So growth is on our way, but be assured that we are invested in making sure it happens in a proper manner.
And when you talk about, I mean, just think about this, 7 storm drainage improvement projects last year, 12 wastewater projects, 34 water projects, 34 wastewater projects, another 11, all of these happening. We're investing our money back in the system. We're about to embark on our canal project that we waited 10 years, folks. 10 years it took to get through the federal system to get to a point that we can start our project and bring back that is, and what we learned from 2015 though, it allowed us to invest and redundancy. So we have, think about this, our water system's protected. So next time a storm comes and somebody tells you that the wastewater plant's down and you gotta fill your bathtub and all that, don't believe them, okay? Don't run out and do it. Because the reality is not only are we getting our canal fixed, but we also have an alternative water intake now straight into the Broad. We also have redundancy built into our Lake Murray plant. So we've protected the water system for all the people that we serve. And we're doing that. The canal plant, not only that alternative water source, also creates a platform opportunity that gives us more connectivity with our greenway. There's a win for us. The other part of that also allows us to get our hydro plant. That's 10 megawatts of green power that we can use. That's enough to offset our two biggest users of power, our wastewater plant and our water treatment plants. That's going to be in our ability by getting that. And I've got to thank Senator Graham and Congressman Clyburn, because without them, we'd probably still be arguing it. And let me give a real shout out to former Mayor Steve Benjamin, because he was in the White House, who also helped us with that, especially when it came to getting the meetings with FERC and FEMA so they could quit fighting over what we could do and what we couldn't do. Because at one time the cost ran well over $100 million. And a lot of that shortfall was going to fall on us, and they fought for us to make sure that we got the money and the resources to fix our water plant. So just to let y'all know, that canal and that alternative water source are the investments, but that's us being tenacious in having meetings, going to Washington, engaging, and going after everything there is. But we also have invested heavily internally, consolidating our offices with our municipal center, having the majority of our employees all in one building. Talk about effective and efficiency, working together, being able to go one floor to next to get things done, but also the ability to work hard together. We're doing the same thing with our police. It's amazing. I start talking about the new police headquarters. The chief always seems to walk into the room. It's like he knows that that's the next. Thank you for being here, Chief Olde. Our new police headquarters, consolidating our headquarters and our metro and our emergency management system all in one place, creating opportunities for more to get done. And I gotta brag on our police department. Crime is down in every segment across, from auto break-ins to shootings to that. And that's creating partnerships. That's also utilizing technology, training, and we have incredible officers that we invested in to make sure that we retain them. I'm not going to tell you that we're fully staffed, because we're not. But we're going to continue to recruit hard. But recruiting in our own state is very difficult, because all we're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're robbing somebody from another, and guess what happens? They come in to rob from us. So what we're trying to do is really focus on the folks that are coming here. Who can we attract and who can we have here to supplement? But technology is a big part of that. Hoping that our state partners will allow us to use technology in a better way. Red light cameras, speed cameras. Talk about lowering speed in the neighborhood. You get a few pictures in the mail with a fine attached to it, it'll teach you to slow down when you're riding through the neighborhood. Red light cameras. Yeah. Red light cameras have proven across the U.S. and across the globe to reduce accidents. And those accidents, an average officer spends an hour and a half at an accident site. Think about if they were out there preventing crime or being able to help somebody else who was saying, instead of being stuck. There's so many other ways that we could have those resources, and I'm hoping that our state legislature will allow us to use the technologies that are out there to enhance. We've invested in ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter has reduced crime in our high crime areas by the alerts, allowing officers to get there in minutes. And if the shooter's not there, guess what they get to get? They get to collect the shells and everything else and create catalogs and do that. They're able to match those and put those. That helps them solve crimes. Today's live camera system that we have, tied into all the street cameras and all you good folks who give them the ability to use your Ring camera. That's how we're solving crime, people working together. And that's what we got to continue to do. We've seen a banner year to see reduction all the way across. I just want to thank you, Chief. I want to thank the officers. Thank y'all for investing in our fire department. We're going to continue to do that, but folks, we got to do a lot more. That's why we're going after every grant. That's why we're doing everything we can to make sure that we have all the tools, the training, but also the facilities, upgrading those facilities. That's home to those folks who are working there, who are there on a 24-hour shift. Making sure that everything's operating. And folks, I'm going to tell you, we're not perfect, but we're striving every day to get there. We've learned a lot by communicating with our employees and understanding that sometimes policy gets in the way from allowing them to do their job. We're listening. It goes back to what my grandmother used to say, 2 ears and 1 mouth, there's a reason. We're spending more time listening. We're going to do everything we can to improve those quality of lives. And it's so important because all that is part of it. Our emergency management system, our fleet upgrades. We're making sure that we're doing everything to give those tools for our employees to do their job. But we're not done. And we're doing it without raising your property tax. We're doing it in the ways that we need to, which is being smart. Y'all, Finley Park, which was mentioned earlier, $25 million renovation will be paid off in 7 years. There's no 30-year bond there. 7 years. We're leveraging our dollars. We're finishing projects and then moving to the next. We're seeing the record investment now paying off. A lot of those tax incentives have gone away. Now we're getting full tax from a lot of those properties. That's paying in. We're doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we can continue to invest heavily. Mr. Brennan, did you want to add anything across the board? Because I know there are a lot of questions. I want to make sure we got time for questions.
Obviously, a lot of exciting stuff going on in Columbia. So look forward to continuing that. And again, this council is committed to the smart growth approach.
You know, what is it with the chiefs? They come rolling in, you know, every time you start talking about their stuff. Chief Jenkins, thank you for being here. Good to see you as well. There's so much going that, you know, this meeting really could be 3 hours. We could have so much discussion at every level, from our marketing to where we are with our hub, the operations. And I want to shout out everybody from our planning to zoning. They're working hard. We're not perfect. There are gaps, and we're filling them. And we're going to continue to do that with having dialogue and continuing to do the things that we need to get done. And I want to reiterate, because I get excited every day. This has been the greatest opportunity I've ever had in my life to serve as mayor for this community. Because every day I get to meet people. I get to see things happen. I get to see the community that, quite frankly, when I was at school, I never planned on staying. I fell in love with this community because what I saw them do is support small businesses, invest in themselves, get excited. You know, when you're 22 years old and you're coming out of school, you're thinking everything in the world. I turned around, people were taking jobs here, starting businesses here. I saw things, I saw an opportunity. My kids grew up here. I married my wife here. She practices here. This is home to us. And I think where Mr. Brennan talks about the vibe, Mr. Brown, there is a vibe. We believe in ourselves because, quite frankly, we didn't a whole lot, because people used to talk about how close we are to Charleston, how close we are to Asheville. Now, those are great assets, but that's not who we are. We are the capital city that have everything that everybody wants. Our goal is to make sure that our kids and grandkids, when they're ready to raise a family, come back here. Why? Because every opportunity that they have, whether it's housing or jobs, are right here in our community. You don't need to go to Charlotte or anywhere else. And I'm very proud to say I love walking around the streets and people not talking about Charleston and Greenwood. I love that they're talking about our community. And the visitors that are coming here, that I meet at Soda City and everywhere, you know what they're talking about? Your community loves this community. They're telling me where to go and what to do and be part of it. We're at 16.4 million visitors. We went from 5 million people spending the night to 5.7 million. We need to be at 8 million because that's what we need. That's where it really helps us get over the hump, and that helps our restaurants and our businesses. Think about the down trickle of that. It's not just a home football game. It's not just when the fair's in town. It's not just then. It's every day. If you haven't been to Soda City in a while, go down there and see the 5,000 to 10,000 people that are coming in to our community. You know, we swell every day. We're close to 150,000 people, residents. But we actually swell to 220 every day. So many people are in our community on a daily basis that commute and be part of it. And then you add all the visitors, the 250,000 people that come to Fort Jackson, the 45,000 recruits that come here, many of them who end up in careers are retiring here. That's an asset. The National Advocacy Center being here. So we have a lot to be proud of, but we're going to continue to improve. And I keep saying it, we're not perfect. Not everything's there, but we're making progress, and we're making progress in the right way. One step at a time, one neighborhood at a time. But when you got 2,100 empty lots and you lost 9% of your population over a decade, seeing a shift where people are coming back and wanting to live in our communities, and we're building back our communities one step at a time, that's incredible. And just thank you for the opportunity. And with that, we'll go to the questions. Ms. Wilson, Ms. Wilson's here. Ms. Wilson, our city manager, we could not do what we do without Ms. Wilson and that staff. We introduced most of our senior staff earlier, but thank you, Ms. Wilson, for being here and being part of what we're doing. Ms.
Okay, so we have a lot of questions. We did the same thing last time. It worked pretty well. If it's broad, I will read it broadly. If it's personal, I may broaden it up, and we'll follow up for more casework style follow-up from the staff. So we'll jump in. Only one question I think has been answered, so it's a softball. When is the canal repair starting?
It's already started, and I'm very excited about it. It has been, I don't know how many trips we've made and how long we went, but the fact that it started and the phase is getting done, and y'all, when it's done and the greenway and everything's done, we're gonna have so much to be proud of. Tying into that to our new potential riverfront park, that the Ginyards are donating the land and being part of that is going to be amazing.
Next, we have a status update on the Williams Street extension.
So Williams Street should go out for RFP in the next 60 days. Is that, I think, is the latest. I know that they're about 90% construction drawings finished with phase 1 and working on phase 2. They're meeting weekly with the Ginyard family, all the partners involved, including the city and all of our staff. So hopefully you'll see some dirt moving soon. I'm ready to see it move.
This resident has lived in Rosewood for 15 years, but recently got a notice on their trash can about leaving it on the street. When did this start and why?
Well, it's actually been in our books ever since we had Herbie Kirby's. It's been there for a long time, and a lot of it is based on complaint. I know in the university area especially, they've been controlling that for years, code enforcement, and a lot of that's been driven by folks complaining if it stays out there too long. You're actually supposed to, if you read in the ordinance, you're actually supposed to have it back after 7 o'clock in the evening at day of pickup. So that is, but we usually just give a warning. If you're a repeat customer, we might have a conversation with you.
Next, what can be done about the homeless and panhandlers begging at our intersections for money or food?
That is a significant problem, and you're actually not supposed to panhandle. At one point, we even talked about requiring them to have a business license to do that. And then they have to declare their income, and You know, it's been a challenge because a lot of the folks that are in the intersection, believe it or not, are not actually not homeless. This is a professional, and we know that for a fact because we had a new regional director for Walmart come in. He actually went to the intersection and tried to hire everybody, offering to start at $16.50 an hour, and then said, look, you could potentially be at $24.50 in a very short work time. I'd love to give you a job. I'd love to help you get started. And they were basically told, I make $200 a day. Why would I do that?
Couldn't handle the pay cut.
But yes, we're working. I know a lot of our officers try to warn folks that you got to get away from the intersection, but it is a problem. We're going to have to work on some other ways. I hate putting resources on that, but we've got to do something because it has gotten aggressive in some of our corridors, and it's spread out. It used to just be in our downtown corridor. Now it's on Leesburg Road. It's on Forest Drive, it's on North Main, it's in Harbison. It's pretty much every major intersection is getting folks on a weekly, especially on the weekends. But we're gonna work on that. We've got to figure out the right intent. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, and also a lot of times you may see that going on and you just say, why is somebody panhandling in the middle of the street? Make a call, because a lot of times people are not calling for these situations as well. Law enforcement, they do work hard in getting the bad guys, but they deal with a lot of quality of life issues with the unsheltered population. So if you see somebody who's frequently doing it, call law enforcement so they can address the issue.
And I do want to point out, Mr. Mayor, back to relationships, DOT is going out of their way to work with us on giving us a budget to put fences underneath the interstate. So individuals can't go up underneath the interstate as you see every day there at 77. But throughout that, through the city of Columbia, there's dozens of overpasses that are vulnerable. So they are working with us on that, especially down in the Elmwood Avenue area.
I think we all realize that this is an issue that we've really got to continue to address. It has really affected all of Columbia. I think the next few years is going to be a much more coordinated effort. It's really kind of a monumental task to deal with the homeless issue. And it's so multifaceted and so many different layers to address. And I think we've done a poor job in Columbia of kind of institutionalizing homelessness where we sort of kind of deal with it, but really don't deal with the root problems of why people are on the streets. So I think the future, you'll see a lot more of a real strategic, coordinated effort to help people. That's really what it's about. You gotta help people. It's not about giving somebody 3 meals a day so they can go back out on the street at night. It's about trying to help people and really solve the homeless issue in our area. And I think you're going to see that it'll be much more of a broad, coordinated effort. And as Will says all the time, I mean, it's really true. I mean, this is, you can't do this on your own. You've got to have the county, you've got to have the state, you've got to have other partners in dealing with these super complex issues. So I will make a commitment that the next 4 years is going to be much more of a strategic, purposeful effort to deal with this issue. For the right reasons too.
I think I want to add to that, didn't get really a chance to talk about it because I was worried about time, but we invested in our rapid shelter. I mean, we put 50 pallet homes. We've gotten over 100 people into permanent housing. I think it's almost 200 and something referrals to other services to help those providers. But it proved to us that individual housing draws the folks off the street and then allows us to get the wraparound services them. And we've tried a couple things and it hasn't worked. But we're pulling the community together again to say, look, we've got to change because what's happening now is not working. We're seeing an increase of homelessness. We're seeing more mental health. Our pathway units, we got 5 clinicians that are embedded in our police department. They've had over 1,200 interactions. They're meeting people on the street. They're helping us get those folks into the referral. But it's encampments, it's folks spread out that we've never seen before. It is a regional problem. We can't just go and disperse people out of the community because you create other problems. What we have to do is get them the service. So our incubator that we put together, our rapid shelter, and under our director of homeless services, has proven that model works, and that's where we've got to head. Now people are coming to the table because the reality is funding at the federal level is changing and everything else. This is where we have partners. Last year alone, this community spent $40 million providing some type of homeless service. There are over 100 homeless providers. We need to come together and take those resources. We have an opportunity. Our governor is committed to, through executive order, to require the agencies to participate if we can centralize services so that we really can have an impact. Because the majority of these folks have mental health issues and addiction issues, two biggest problems. And we've got to change it because it is affecting the quality of life of themselves, our residents, and our businesses. And we're this year and next year, it is our priority to get that completed with our partners to make sure that we have an outcome and a service that provides, because the enabling that's going on is not getting folks out of that situation. It's actually extending their stay in the community, and that being outdoors and not having the services is not working.
The next question is, Garner's Ferry Road is listed as a gateway to Columbia, but the right side of the intersection is covered with unsightly vegetation. 48,000 people travel every day in this stretch. What could be done with partnership?
That has been an ongoing, and when you pull out of here at Old Woodlands and you pull and you go down to the right, you'll see the unsightly hill that we've tried multiple times to plant. Right now we've got grass planted there, trying to do that. I think one of the things that talking with Public Works and others is we have a great partner in our community that we just really haven't engaged like we should. That's the Clemson Extension. I've had multiple meetings with them, and they really want to do more. And the President Clements of Clemson really has ignited their community, saying, "We're Extension. We are supposed to be all over. What are you doing to be more involved?" So we're getting them involved to figure out what vegetation, because you remember that used to all be trees years ago. When those trees came down, everything else that's planted. We've tried the evergreens, we've tried putting the plastic and trying to water it. We've tried multiple plants, nothing's worked. Grasses are in there now. But it's important, and part of our investment is beautification across the city. Partner with Columbia Green. We've had 3 more garden clubs want to come and be part of what can we do to help. Well, these are the type of projects we want to utilize that volunteer base and to grow, along with planting trees, landscaping, making sure that wherever you come, inviting. Litter, our other big. Litter is a massive problem. And this is where partnering with, and this is where we've been advocating with our state partners and our delegation is, I want the same cleanup crew that works I-26 to work Garner's Ferry. It's a highway, it's called 378. Gervais Street is actually Highway 1. These are highways I want our state to help us get where we can have that same kind of beautification and pickup. Because if you notice going down I-26, those centers are always nice and clean, and those crews are out there trimming. We want to get the same thing. We tried to use the penny sales tax as an opportunity to put funding together, but DOR says the penny sales tax could not be used for beautification projects and cleanup like that. So we're trying to figure out a different resource and a way to do that so that we can have full-time. We looked at even a pilot program working with some of our youth who may not be able to get hired somewhere else, but as a way to show them that a job, paying, and benefits could be an opportunity. So we're going to keep trying to keep working, but if you see your representative next time, ask them if they can help us out on that.
So I was thinking, you talked about a little bit earlier, the couple of key words that we talked about was trust, building trust in the community. Then the second word we talked about was belief, and I really feel like the third phase of that's going to be pride. And some of this is, it just takes time to build. You have to be proud of Columbia. You gotta be proud of your area, and you gotta want to be a part of keeping that area looking great. Okay, too many times I think we've driven by and we've gotten used to just the way things look, and used to an empty lot, and used to this and that. And as we develop and as we grow, we're going to have the opportunity, I think, to really make these kinds of differences and really, really, really dig into the beautification of our area and our community. I really think that's kind of the way I always think about things. It's trust, it's belief, it's pride. That's what's really going to drive our community.
3 years ago, we were told there'd be major improvements to Woodlands Park. Nothing's happened. When might we see something happen?
I think we're working on some stuff right now out there.
True.
And I think you're going to continue to see that. I would pass it on to our director of parks because he knows all the answers. But if you hang around afterwards, Mr. Bryant would be glad to fill you in on the next stages and when they're coming.
But in general, though, I think this is the biggest pro-green space council, city council we've ever had. Everybody here, we've got a strategic plan. We're looking at, the mayor talked about pop-up parks, but these small green spaces down in the Vista, downtown, and really just kind of greening up Columbia. I really think that's a major, major goal of this city council, and it should be a goal of everybody to make Columbia greener and get rid of some of this blacktop that we've got everywhere. It's just hard to believe that sometimes we just walk around and get your eyes open. So I think greening up Columbia is a big goal of this council.
Greening up or make it green?
Both. I like to make it green again.
Make it green again.
I'm not sure, but somehow we fell in love with parking lots in Columbia, and it's just we just gotta change our mentality.
Hard one, and then a fun one. And I do encourage whoever read this to call up with Chief Holbrook, but is the city planning to assist ICE with the Columbia Police Force? Second part, would you consider requiring ICE agents to be unmasked and identifiable?
I think we're watching too much CNN.
Yeah, first of all, I think we have a great relationship with our federal agents, and we're in touch with our communities here, and I think we've done a good job by not trying to draw attention to that issue and allowing people to live their lives. And obviously we work closely with law enforcement. If there are folks that are criminals and there are folks that are wanted, we are going to work with them to make sure that they don't impact or terrorize our community. But folks that are here, I'm a first-generation American. My family immigrated here. I think where we ought to be really focused on is how do we fix the system? How do we fix it that the people who want to come here and live the American dream like my family did and other folks have, I mean, I'm living it, and I'm proof of it. We need to fix that part. But I have, as a mayor, particularly tried to be quiet and not get involved in that national conversation because I like the way our community is. I don't want it to be on CNN, Fox, or, you know, I'll be quite frank, I don't even like the fact that we're on patrol with Richland because I don't think it portrays who we are as a community. But drawing attention to that doesn't solve an issue. What we do is protect the people in our community and we create those relationships. And I think that's what we're going to continue to do.
Okay, each of you, what is your prediction? Clemson or USC?
Go Cox!
Go Cox!
Definitely Gamecocks. Cox.
Okay, we're halfway.
The question right before that was mine about ICE. I have a small child, and I have been watching the news a lot, and it does make me fearful because it is happening in our city, and we have the Republican governor and mayor, and you know most of it. But they will be coming here, and they are here. So if we do, even if it's a year from now, start having instances where there are people pulling people off the street without any identification, covering their faces, that's terrifying. And mayors have stood up in the past and presently to just relegate that. It's not an it's not interfering on anybody's rights. It's just asking them to be identifiable like the police officers, like highway patrol, like any other officer who is committing acts of arrest or seizure or things like that. So I appreciate the answer, but there wasn't really an answer as to whether you would actually be for that or whether you're not going to.
Well, what I've learned is that when there's no reason to bring attention to it. You know why some of these other cities are seeing what they're seeing and how it's being portrayed? Is because of the way they're responding to it. The way they've gone after attack before anything happened. They created a lot of this. I don't want to create a situation in our community. And I know our law enforcement, both at the SLED and our chief and our sheriff, they're not just going to allow somebody to come in here and just go in without listening and working. We have working relationships all the way across. I think everybody ought to be identified, but I'm specifically not trying to draw attention to our community for a reason, because the community folks here feel safe. And you can worry about it, you can think about it, but we can't stop anything. I don't think making some big bold statement is doing anything. Standing up at the appropriate time, if necessary, then we will. But I'm trying not to draw attention to this community. I'm trying to keep us focused on what's really happening now and here now, and I think we're doing the right thing. Agree or disagree is okay.
Next, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, when the hydrants are, I do not know the word, open. No? Well, why can't the water be captured by the water buffalo and used to water vegetation that's been planted throughout the city? So I guess the circulation.
Hey, real quick. This is the lady, ma'am, who asked the question. I think we're going to be good here in Columbia, just so you know. That's not going to happen here. I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but I think our people it is. But I think our relationship with our law enforcement community, our council, we're not going to have that happen here. I think we're going to protect our people. So if you can take any comfort in what the mayor said and what we're saying, I think we're going to be fine. I think we got a lot of good things we're focusing on. And the last time the North encroached on the South like that, this is South Carolina. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen here. And it shouldn't be happening anyway, but I don't think it's going to happen here in Columbia. I know I'm just trying to help ease some of your concerns that you
We're a
have.
capital city.
We are a capital city, but I think we're going to be fine.
We wouldn't have no extension to anybody besides Charleston. I understand that that's your view on the issue, but I guess we'll revisit this next year when it's different.
I hope you're wrong, because I
I
don't
hope I
think
am too.
it's going to be that way.
Water capture.
So this actually is smart, and I don't know why we haven't thought about it before. You know, two things I will tell you: flushing our fire hydrants sometimes it takes a longer time than others. It may not be able to be captured, but it would be an interesting thing if we could hook up our water trucks to that and recapture that where we can, where we're watering trees and other things. So it's something we should look into. I don't see why we can't try it. I don't know that it could be something that you could capture all of it, but if we could capture some of it, it'd be great.
This is in relation to golf carts. Is there anything the city can do beyond state law to restrict young parents from holding infants in their arms on golf carts? Some babies are being held by parents on the rear with no restraints at all.
I think one of the things that we're going to be looking at and bring to our public safety now that the state has given us some more leeway is to work on some more golf cart regulations, because it's not only the safety in the neighborhoods, and believe me, I live in a neighborhood with 5 pediatricians live in it, and they cringe all the time as folks ride around, because you have the opportunity really to endanger that. You got to remember that there are other things going on, and there are other people on the road, and accidents happen, and that creates. And I know I didn't wear a seatbelt. I was in the back of the station wagon. I survived. I get it. But this is a lot different situation. Also addressing golf carts as they're being used all over, really having to look at getting back to the enforcement of it all the way across, because it's gotten to be a little bit of the Wild West, especially the people that are doing it on the commercial side. And taking all these events and not following the law. It specifically says certain roads, certain speeds, the things that you need to do that. So we're going to be looking at as part of our public safety here in the coming months.
Not a question, but a comment saying that they love the new fitness center that's being put in. And are all the members who repealed the conversion theory ban a member of one party or ideology?
No.
Why does Columbia PD not carry FN firearms made here in Columbia?
FN manufacturing. I think we used to. We've switched now, haven't we? That's out of my ballpark. But the man right there in the coat and tie, who's undercover, could be glad to answer that question.
What y'all carry still works, right?
That's called passing the buck.
One of the last questions is this resident has had problems with dog poop bags being left and not picked up by the sanitation crews and then getting stepped on. So I think that's something they just want to see fixed.
And whoever that was, if you'll let me know the area so that we can make sure that we have a conscious effort to make sure those get cleaned up. I know a lot of times when the claws and other stuff come by, they pick up and they miss some of that stuff, but they're supposed to be raking that up. We'll rectify that. We are looking at putting some more poop trash cans out, especially around our public spaces. I would just say at least they're putting it in a bag and not just leaving it in your lawn.
I don't know, my yard seems to attract a lot of this stuff, so.
Well, you got a pig and two tortoises.
But you know what, that's got nothing to do with anything, so.
Please hold. We're getting our final question.
Better be a good one.
Okay. Occupancy issue in Wheeler Hill. What are we gonna do? As well as STR situation across the city and front yard parking. So these are all kind of related to our ongoing conversations. If y'all could give a status update.
I'll start with STR, Jim. Thank you for being so vocal.
Something on the 16th?
We will be discussing it. I think we all recognize the importance of the character of our communities. Discussing with the colleagues about zoning. Do we cap them and no longer let Airbnbs run as a business in the heart of our communities and really push them, promote them, correct, no nuance, excuse me, thanks. But promote them to more commercial, CAC, mixed-use areas in our city, because I think there's a lot of great opportunities for residential offerings in a lot of places that investors aren't looking at. I will say, if you're an owner-occupied short-term rental owner, any regulation that comes forward from the city will not affect you. So just to make that clear, as this conversation matures over the next couple of weeks, because as you all know, it's been buzzing around in the news.
And I would say, as we continue to look at occupancy, we're going to have to continue to do what we have to do, which is prove that there's more than 3 unrelated people living in there. And sometimes that's harder than it needs to be, but unfortunately it is the way the law works. And we're encouraging people ahead of time. Hopefully new rental permit will also help with some of that issue, that people understand that every person who lives there needs to be on the lease, and that lease needs to be part of what we get in the permit, so people understand what the rules are. Some people have been skirting them, and it's not just college students. Let's be realistic. This happens across the board of the city. We depend a lot on people letting us know, but it does take a lot to prove it. But we're going to continue to enforce. When we find it, we'll enforce it. I know that there have been several people on that corner who no longer have 5 people living there, but there's some folks that we're investigating now.
And you as neighborhood leaders have been very helpful when it comes to identifying folks that are not being quality neighbors and letting us know who code enforcement needs to take a look at. So I encourage you, please keep reporting that to us, whether it's via each council member or our code enforcement team. And then also, we have a wonderful group, the Columbia Council of Neighborhoods is growing in strength, and also the communication between neighborhoods. So there's a lot of resources out there for y'all to be our eyes and ears.
I think also this is a very open council. This is the council that answers its phone. This is the council that replies to text. This is the council that replies to emails. We want your ideas. We want your input. We want you to be part of the future and part of all the solutions. So don't be afraid. Text me, call me. You know what? I'll call you back if I don't answer it. So I think we're open to how we proceed. Again, we want to be very strategic, very purposeful, and very. But also we don't want to just not do stuff. We want to make good decisions, but we don't want to make non-decisions. Just be afraid to move things forward. So please be part of the solution.
And the front parking, obviously we have our code enforcement who've been out there, but we're also instituting a warning program right now and doing blitzes across several areas. We've gotten complaints in the Rosewood University area, but also in Martin Luther King and several other neighborhoods where we'll be putting our blitz in and starting off with a warning program, and then repeat offenders will be getting fined. So we're addressing it, we're listening.
And Jim, the warning has a QR code on it. You can scan it, it can take you to the rule. So it's very impressed by Al and the parking team to put that together.
And we have 2 raffle winners for tonight, and only 2 people entered. So if that was the Powerball, congrats, but it wasn't. It is a Columbia water bag. Our winners are Ashley McCall and David Gunther. If you'd like to come up and take that.
Thank you for signing up. Too bad it wasn't a 1.8 billion.
Thanks for playing, everybody.
Thank you all for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
I know we talked last year, the last year on it, but I don't consider down the road, as far as the city becoming concerned, any form of possible like light rail, and as far as for the city goes, as far as where the campsite is,
We actually have been meeting Amtrak. We're actually getting some more, getting 2 more stops that are coming through here. But light rail is still far out for the cost because we don't have the density yet. But there is some ongoing discussions. The group that started off trying to set the path going to Charlotte, to Greenville, and then to Atlanta are still working. So one step at a time. But it's still alive. It didn't die yet.
Thank y'all. Thank you.